Hello everyone, welcome back to Changfied YouTube channel, your trusted source for latest updates across South Sudan and beyond. Today we bring you two major and heartbreaking stories from the region. First, in Juba, a digital forensic expert has told the court that he successfully recovered the deleted WhatsApp messages from phone linked to the high-profile case involving suspended first by President Dr. Machar and 7 other accused persons. This development could become one of the most important moments in the ongoing court cases. Second, we'll talk about we turn to Sudan, where the United Nations said a deadly drone strike hit a wedding ceremony in North Darfur, killing at least 30 civilians, including women and children. This tragic incident has once again raised serious concern over the worsening violence in Sudan. Before we proceed, I will ask you to help the channel by subscribing, turn on the notification bell so whenever we upload a new video you can be notified. Let's begin our report with forensic expert recover deleted WhatsApp messages. According to this information, a South African digital forensic expert appeared before the special court on Friday and gave important testimony in the case involving Dr. Machar and 7 others. The expert, identified as Red Logo Peter Calvin Rafadi, told the court that he was able to recover deleted message from device belonging to the accused. This was during the 6-to-6 court session. According to his testimony, many of the messages had been deleted from the phones. Some were removed manually, others were recalled using WhatsApp default timer and disappearing message features. Because of this, he said it was difficult to see them through normal manual phone viewing. However, using advanced digital forensic tool, he said he was able to extract the deleted data. This is a major development because digital evidence can play a powerful role in court cases, especially in cases involving serious criminal charges. Rafadi explained to the court that his work involved specialized forensics technology designed to recover deleted information. He said the deleted WhatsApp messages were successfully extracted along with other encrypted materials. This means that even messages that were believed to be permanently erased may now be part of the court evidence. While speaking before the court, the expert, South African forensic experts say most of these messages were physically deleted or recalled. He added that some were hidden through automatic deletion setting. This suggests that whoever used the device may have tried to remove the communication record. But according to the forensic expert, the data was still recoverable through specialized tools. He also told the court that he found additional evidence on the phone belonging to Lieutenant General Gabriel Doblam, who is listed as the fourth accused in the case. According to him, not all WhatsApp messages on the phone had been deleted. This allows investigators to recover more information. That part of the evidence may become important in the continuation of the trial. Let's look at the defense lawyer question screenshot. During the court hearing, the defense reportedly questioned whether the screenshot presented as evidence had been changed or manipulated. This is common in cases involving digital evidence. Defense lawyers often challenge the authenticity of a screenshot, message, or extract data. But Rafadi strongly rejects those claims. He told the court clearly that the message were not altered. According to him, his role was only to extract the information, analyze it, and present the metadata. Metadata refer to hidden digital details such as timestamp, sender information, and message story. These details often help investigation or investigator prove whether information is genuine or not. He emphasized that he did not edit or change any message content. Instead, he simply presented what was recovered from the devices. This statement could strengthen the prosecution case. The expert also explained that the device and tool he used are officially certified in South Africa. He said the equipment is recognized by South African Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority. This is important because the court needs to trust that the extraction process follow professional standard. The defendant suggests that the process may not have been properly documented, but once again, the expert rejected that accusation. He insisted that the digital extraction process was properly conducted. This part of the hearing is likely to continue attracting public attention. The presiding judge, James Alala Deng, later adjourned to the hearing. The court is expected to resume on Monday, April 13, 2026. The next session will continue the cross-examination of the forensic expert. This means defense lawyers will continue asking him questions about how the evidence was obtained. Many observers believe the next hearing could be critical. Dr. Machar, who is 73 years old, remains one of the most prominent figures in South Sudan politics. He has been suspended from his position as first vice president. He and the other accused person face very serious charges. These include murder, conspiracy, terrorism, treason, destruction of public property, and crime against humanity. These are among the most serious charges under the law. Machar remains under house arrest. The others are being detained by the National Security Services in Juba. According to prosecutor, the charges are linked to the March 2025 attack on the Nasser garrison. They allege that forces connected to the Sudan People Liberation Army in opposition, SPLA-IO, together with the Norway Army militia carried out the attack. The prosecution said 257 soldiers from the South Sudan People Defense Forces were killed. Among the dead was Commander David Majudak. The prosecutor also said military equipment worth about $15 million was either destroyed or seized. This case continued to be one of the most politically sensitive trials in South Sudan. Now let's move on to our second major story. This one comes from Sudan, and it is a deeply tragic report. In this report, drone strike on wedding killed 30. The United Nations said at least 30 civilians were killed after a drone strike hit a wedding ceremony in North Darfur. Among those killed were women and children. This shocking incident happened in Khartoum. The strike reportedly took place on Wednesday. The United Nations made the announcement on Thursday. According to United Nations spokesman Stephen Dujarric, the attack directly targeted civilians gathered for a wedding celebration. A wedding is normally a moment of joy and family unity, but in this case it turned into a scene of horror and loss. The United Nations strongly condemned the use of drones against civilians. Dujarric said such attacks are unacceptable. He stressed that all sides involved in the conflict must protect civilians and civilian infrastructure. This is required under international humanitarian law. The use of military drones in civilian areas has become an increasing concern in Sudan's ongoing conflict. Local right group blamed the Sudanese army for the strike. The emergency lawyers group and the resistance committee in Al-Fashar both issued a statement on social media. They said the Wednesday attack was carried out by the army, Sudan army. At the time of reporting, the army had not responded. This means the claim remained under public and international scrutiny. The United Nations also reported more fighting in South Kordofan. Clash around the town of Dilim reportedly killed 47 civilians. Many others were injured. This fighting has been going on since Monday. The violence continued to spread civilians are paying the highest price. The United Nations said humanitarian operations are facing serious disruption. Major supply routes have been closed. This is making it difficult for aid organizations to deliver food, medicine, and clean water to the affected people. This situation is especially dangerous because the rainy season is expected to begin in June. Once heavy rain began, many roads may become impassable. Fuel price also rise sharply. This makes transportation even harder. The humanitarian crisis is becoming worse every day. The United Nations has also warned that more than 1 million Sudanese refugees in Chad are now at risk. The reason is lack of funding. According to the World Food Programme, the UNHCR, there is a funding gap of $428 million. Because of this shortage, critical support services are under threat. This includes food, shelter, healthcare, water, and protection services. This is an alarming situation. Chad is currently hosting about 1.3 million Sudanese refugees. More than 900,000 of them fled after the conflict started in 2023. Despite limited resources, Chad has kept its border open. This has put heavy pressure on local communities. The United Nations said 1 in every 3 people in eastern Chad is now a refugee. This shows the scale of the crisis. The World Food Programme said it has already reduced food assistance by half for most refugees. This means many families are now receiving less food than before. Many people are living in extremely difficult conditions. The United Nations is urgently calling on international donors to provide support. Without immediate funding, the situation could become catastrophic. Well, that's it. If you are new here to Changfied YouTube channel, I would like you to help the channel by subscribing and turn on the notification bell. So whenever we upload a new video, you can be notified. Let's meet on our next reporting. Bye-bye.